Good morning, folks. One and only Johnny Ricardo here. And as I walk about my city of San Francisco, I guess this is part 4. So looking back on yesterday, visiting my friend, looking to get a little insight, which I should have known better, but here's the problem with him. He is very indicative of what's poisoned this city. What's really become toxic to it is the politics. The politics in the city are just completely, firmly Democrat, or Democratic Party, I mean. And what exactly do I mean by that? They'll take up any particular cause, right? As long as it suits their ends, which is to power, remain in power by any means necessary. I think the whole, politicizing of the ongoing crisis with COVID-19 and so on, it's definitely a good example. They're trying to basically use this to get Trump out of the White House, and it's obvious. Even if they're, going so far as to, want to throw the election in order to just, wait until the next presidential election, just to use, him as an example, why, we shouldn't, vote Republican anymore. It's absolutely disgusting. Really. Republican Party, really started back with Abraham Lincoln. He freed the slaves, Democrats threw such a bitch fit tantrum. They took the South states along with them, split this country in half, went into a fucking civil war over all that. It's just, and since then, they've made some gains getting back into the White House. Most, best example being when, what's his name? Real son of a bitch, too. Woodrow Wilson. Fucking deep racist. Woodrow Wilson, did a lot to bring the Democrats, back into some kind of political footing. And pretty much after him, it had its own sort of power struggle within the Democratic Party, which is, demonstrated between FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, then Truman, because thing with Henry Truman, he wasn't always FDR's vice president. Henry Wallace had been, I think for the majority of FDR's terms, vice president. Let's see. So after Truman, we get John F. Kennedy. I'm trying to, not to, plug up any microphone sources that I'm using. But what happens with John F. Kennedy? Well, he runs things his way, in the way he responds to the Bay of Pigs, the way he responded to the Cuban Missile Crisis. A lot of things when you look at Kennedy, and I think Untold history of the United States is, you know, very, very well shows this, that, you know, why would somebody like a simple, you know, man like Oswald in the book depository, some Marxist Leninist or whatever that he was being portrayed to be, or even claiming to be, you know, after, you know, Kennedy went to great lengths to appeal to Khrushchev, you know, let's make peace, let's work towards common goals rather than fight each other, you know, rather than be hostile to each other. You know, we nearly fucking, you know, we nearly got wiped out by mutually assured destruction of the Cuban Missile Crisis. And, you know, it's, you know, complete bullshit with the Warren Report. Sorry to, you know, if this is just like something that, you know, but it does apply to San Francisco right now, because they have the Democratic Party has certainly dug their claws into this place. Since Frank Gifford, Mayor Frank Gifford back in the 90s, I believe, basically, you know, lost to Willie Brown. Willie served 2 terms, and I got no problem with Willie. He's actually a fairly decent man, in my opinion. I think he was the first African American mayor of San Francisco. You know, deep respect there. He's not perfect. You know, I'll certainly, you know, say he's, you know, not unabashedly corrupt. Especially when, you know, it comes to getting sexual favors from a current vice presidential candidate. That being said, moving along, he's, you know, about to, at the end of his second term, during the mayor election, I think it was 2002, or no, it may have been 2003 or so. I think it might have been 2003. Let's see. It was around then that there was a very heated mayoral race between Gavin Newsom and Matt Gonzalez. Matt Gonzalez was, you know, part of the Green Party. He was the president of the Board of Supervisors at the time. And, you know, obviously Gavin's a, you know, pretty much deep blue Democrat. So I'm going to pretty much, you know, bring this to a close. They went to great lengths, even, you know, through Rose Pack. She used to be a power broker here in San Francisco. And Gavin won. It was probably the last mayoral election that involved a runoff election. And, you know, evidently Gavin won. Gavin makes a big name for himself on gay marriage and so forth, you know, nationwide. From there, you know, he gets replaced in election, you know, once his 2 terms are up, with Ed Lee. Ed Lee passed away about a few years ago, and he's now been replaced by London Breed. All Democrats. They've went to really great lengths to hold on to the city, and it has been toxic. Because them is why, you know, we have not been able to find a solution to the homeless problem. And I'm going to leave it there, folks. This is the one and only Johnny Ricardo. He's seeing you.